get back home.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I think we're good. Just let me double check one thing to make sure that
If everyone can start heading to their seats, we're going to start in just a couple minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
Oh, me too. I am fine. I'll need a little bit of time.
We do need.
I know it's all something so curious. There's all the time. Yeah, what time did I get back on Wednesday? Oh, okay.
And you didn't tell us? God damn it, Morgan.
We're good?
Yep.
Excellent. I will call to order the emergency session of the 54th Senate. To begin, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as the original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU was founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. We will now move into the swearing in of senators and associates. So if that is you, you may come down.
Do we have anyone from judicial?
Do we have anyone with judicial with us today? Okay, I can just do this then.
Move this too, sorry. My bad.
Please raise your hand and repeat after me.
Chance.
You're
Right
dominant.
Apologize, I should have specified. I state your name,
I, Ellie Lutz,
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students at Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you wanna?
Do you want to do it? You can do it if you like to.
Howdy, y'all. I'm doing roll call. Looking forward to having a clerk. Love clerks. Senator Luna? Senator Bogart? Senator Myers?
Present.
Associate Senator Miller? Present. Senator, I'm very sorry if I butcher anyone's name. Senator Bushcow? Present. Senator Melchior?
Present.
Senator Frisky?
Present on Zoom.
Senator Davis? Here. Senator Snyder?
Present.
Senator Manati?
Present.
Senator Buckner? Senator Youngkowski. Coolio. Senator, Associate Senator Young. Senator, I don't know if there's a last name. Vlad, I know Vlad's here.
Present. Laura Pardo.
Laura Pardo. Awesome, thank you. Associate Senator Hernandez.
Present.
Senator Salazar.
Present.
Awesome, thank you.
We'll now move into the consent agenda. Do I see any dissent to the agenda?
I motion to add, the ratification of committee chairs, after the ratification of executive cabinet.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, that change will be. brought on the agenda.
Where were we doing
After executive tab.
I motion to add Bill 5402 to the top of the business above executive cabinet ratifications.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, that change will be.
it? Okay, hold on. Give me a second. We're gonna move slow with technology. It wants to work. Okay. We're doing after.
Yeah, so committee chair with elections will be.
Well, it's different on, there we go.
Senator Salazar.
I'd like to move to, I'd like to motion to move, chair elections after 5402.
Do I see any dissent to that motion?
Okay, and then we're doing, TA internally was budgetary. And then were we putting 5402?
That bill was gonna be above the ratification of the executive cabinet. So would you like to have the elections of committee chairs also above the executive cabinet?
Yes. Would that also include caucus chairs as well?
Yeah, we can add that. Do I see any dissent to that motion?
Okay, so caucus.
I'd like to amend that motion, and not do limits of social justice because the chair is not here in person. And I think that's kind of an important message.
I'd like to amend my motion. I would like to put it after Bill 5402.
Okay, can we first
Hold on,
clarify?
let's do these one thing at a time.
Okay. 54002, we had already, we were gonna be
Yes,
before,
on top
okay,
of conflict.
let's make that, new business.
Vice President.
No, we're not.
My understanding, are we moving ratification of executive cabinet to the last item? Is that correct? I'm sorry, I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Yes,
I believe so.
I have a few staff members who need to leave by 6:30, some need to leave by 7. Is it possible that we do this ratification any earlier?
That ultimately, I think, is a decision of the Senate body. So if I see a motion to change anything, we can vote on that.
I would like the motion to table the ratification of executive cabinet until a future meeting.
Real quick, we do have members of this cabinet who have to work over the summer for the work that this body needs to get done. So they do need to be ratified tonight.
Senator Snyder.
Motion, with that in mind, motion to, we could, there's the idea to motion the members of executive cabinet that are required to work over the summer and then table the rest for a future date.
These members also begin their official work date on June 1st. So
If they do,
Please, Mike, please.
basically, for the members of executive cabinet that do need to work over the summer, that do required to work over the summer, then we ratify them, and then we save the ones that do not need to be that are not working over the summer for a future meeting.
I would be amenable to that. Could I hear the reasoning behind that, please?
We are more able to see things like 5402 and the 5402 and in committee and caucus ratifications in the meeting as well.
I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Speaker, we would be able to ratify the full staff and see the budget simultaneously with an executive.
Sorry, quick point of order. The motion that Senator Melchior asked, was that seconded?
Yes.
Okay. So that motion has to be, if that's seconded, then the conversation can continue, but if it is seconded, then there is just a vote that happens on that motion. So
What was that motion again?
to
table all executive cabinet ratifications until a future date.
Okay, we will open up 10 minutes of discussion and debate on this. beginning with Associate Senator Miller.
I think that we shouldn't do that. In respect to these people's time, they're all here to get ratified. They're here, they're ready. I do not see why we should not be ratifying them when they're here and able to do so. And I think that putting it off to another time would be a waste of our time as well. Thank you, I yield.
Senator Melchior.
With regards to respect to the time of executive cabinet, we have had to hold an emergency session of the 53rd Senate because our student body president did not respect the wishes and the time of the 53rd Senate and vetoed a bill that passed with a supermajority. Furthermore, the current executive cabinet is postponing the ratification of certain members in the form of retaliation to statements they've made regarding the veto of that bill.
Wouldn't that be germane to the statement of saying?
Chief of Staff, nothing.
Thank you. So can I pose the right question? Yes. Okay. So for context and clarity, I'm asking, are you not ratifying this staff today? Are you making a motion to not ratify this staff today in reaction to President DeSalvo not signing the bill?
In part.
Can I ask what is the other part of that?
The other part is postponing the ratification of certain members of the executive cabinet in retaliation for statements they've made regarding that veto.
Okay. Thank you so much. The only problem with that is that our student code of conduct here at CSU would entail that this is coercion, this is abuse of power. So I can read it to you directly from how it is stated in our student code of conduct. It is threats, intimidation, coercion, or other unwelcome behavior through any method of communication directed at an individual or individuals that is so severe, persistent, or pervasive such that it has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with a person's academic or work performance, or a person's ability to participate in or benefit from the university's programs, services, opportunities, or activities when viewed through both an objective and subjective standard. You can't do this.
I would say this is not interfering with their work. As Vice President Pizza said, these jobs start June 1st. Today is May 3rd. There is the entirety of May to represent these.
It quite literally will interfere with their work. They cannot start their jobs if they are not ratified today or sometime in the future. Does anybody have a proposition of when that would be in the future?
A point of
So-
information, if we're going to discuss code of conduct, I would like to remind everyone that it is not our job to interpret that a code of conduct violation goes through a process for a reason. I think that we need to get back on track. And I would ask that those in the gallery to remain in decorum as far as speaking rights go. Y'all are not gonna make this easy for us, are you? For our first session. So please, let's give each other patience and grace. Thank you.
So what would happen with that? Just the question of when the next Senate session could be held. That would have to be a second emergency session. We can't have Senate at finals week, so that would likely be the week following finals. Looking at timing with that though. I did get you on the list here. Do you have any questions about that?
I do not. I yield.
Okay. Senator Buckner.
Hi, everyone. So I dissent to this motion simply because we would have to have an additional emergency session. And I feel like, not to speak on everyone's behalf, but just to say the fact that it's an emergency session means that it's taking it out of everyone's time and their scheduling and their time for studying for finals. And like our lovely speaker said, it would be after finals. And I'm pretty sure everyone has plans, and people who cannot be here will not be here. Just to say, I feel like we could just get through this fast process, we've all been using our time to be here on a Friday, not our scheduled Senate session. We can just get through this process. I yield.
Senator Monti.
Hey, y'all. I just wanted to say, I'm also dissenting to this motion, mostly because I feel like this is so much busy work and just retaliatory action being performed by every party involved. We have better things to do. That is a fact, and I will be standing on that fact. I feel like if we can, we ratify those who are in summer positions. We can hold our elections for committee chairs and the caucus chairs that are able to be ratified, if that is on there. We see the humanity and community care bill, and we also just do our work. We make sure that people's time is valued and accounted for so they can get ratified and do their jobs, because there are people here who have to do their job over summer, and holding that up is very annoying. Like, honestly, why are we doing this? I yield.
Senator Davis.
I get where we're coming from in terms of pushing this, but everyone's here right now. I go home on Thursday. I don't want to come back. It's like just taking more time.
Senator Snyder.
Right, so I'm defending to this now because originally my idea was to save as much time so we can hear as many things as possible, so we can go into the fall sessions of the 54th with a more clean slate, instead of picking up what we didn't do today. But at this point, if it's going to be a game of retaliation, then I'm not going to want to entertain this. We all have jobs to do, so let's do it. And furthermore, I motion to previous question.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Do I see any additional dissent to the consent agenda? And
Just clarification, do we have caucus chairs clarification on there? Because I know that was another motion that was made and then we got into this conversation.
That was a motion I could make.
Got it. Okay, do I see any dissent to the motion to add the election of caucus chair to the agenda?
I amended it to not do women's and social justice, seeing as the current chair is not here in person.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, then election of caucus chairs will be added to the agenda as well. Anything else?
Sorry, quick point of order since they're done with that discussion, unless this is completely unrelated, but if that's in regards to tabling executive branch member ratification, that's not happening anymore, to my understanding.
We did have a motion to clear this question, and so that's
Right, so discussion's over for that, and then, I don't know if the vote was, I don't know what happened there, but
this now is just on consent agenda.
I am lost.
Do we have all of the edits that people wanted to see?
I'll just make this easy, because I think what former member Trout was trying to get at is we should vote on that. I'll just rescind my motion to table ratification of executive cabinet members.
Thank you. Do I see any dissent to the agenda?
A real quick point of information is ratification of executive cabinet right there after Bill 54.
As Yes.
Yes, I believe that was what.
As we've made edits, as I understand, just the moving new business up before ratification, as I understand, is the only edit we've actually made to the agenda.
We added the election.
Oh, and
And also the elections of chairs, but that is not until after the ratification of executive cabinet.
Do we all know what's happening now? Have we made all the edits people want to see? Okay. Do I see any other dissent to the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move into confidence business. So we'll put 2 hours on the confidence clock. Beginning with Bill 54 R2, the Humanity and Community Act.
I am lacking. I'm just kidding. 2 hours. 2 hours. Timers for things. Yes. Okay. Doing this.
Thank you all for your patience as we fight through technology and the awkwardness of trying something new. So thank you.
Yes, I did know this. Okay. Not that one. You sent me a new one. That's right.
We'll make edits to it after statements.
Okay. How do I need to get this on there instead of logging into my email on top of that? Okay.
Hold please for just a moment.
Because I need to get into so I can log into my stuff, my personal email. This is why we have a parliamentarian email. And it's screen sharing my. There we go. Okay. Let's not do that.
I motion for a 5-minute recess while we figure this out.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, then we will come back in 5 minutes.
It's 6:19, so 6:24, and we're pretty much ready, but we'll let it happen.
Yeah, fantastic. Do I have to? Oh, there were the blanks. I need these.
Maybe. I just need this fucking computer to do what it needs to do.
The computer not being kind is fun.
It's so funny.
Okay, why didn't that open?
No one stopped the confidence clock this time, right?
Correct.
Because those bylaws haven't come in place.
Or stop them, because there's nothing that says that they keep going during recess.
I think so, yeah.
I've done battle with this computer many times.
This computer is just really slow and silly. It's really silly. I'm gonna try to do better at not swearing right into the owl.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this. Okay, it is back up on there. I think we're good. Otherwise, if let me.
I don't know what happened. I walked in and I was in the middle of it. I was like,
There's
"Mom?"
something initiative.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lesson of
Please
doing
take that out
one
or
thing
take it up. And we're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation with you. We're having
That's time, so please be seated. Most people have left by now.
Nora.
Can someone grab senators who are still in the office? We are coming back. Thank you, love you.
Okay. We're gonna share this. Because
No, literally.
Do you feel confident? Good?
Yeah.
Ready to flow through? No shaking? It's getting presented and then it's going to
Maybe not
Q&A.
from-
Discussion and debate and voting.
If I understand correctly, they have 10 minutes to present, so they probably won't use all of them. 10 minutes of discussion debate, or Q&A, 10 minutes of discussion debate.
Well,
Are we in ratification of executive cabinet?
will we be expediting this?
Yes.
And then ratification is still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then going through.
Do all of those. Committee chair elections. Budget bill.
I feel like that would be far back, so if you want to start.
Yeah.
Are caucus chairs there?
They should be.
I thought it was just not.
Nope.
So that's-
Yeah.
I put caucus chairs, but just not women.
I bought a 17 gavel.
Folks, we've come back from break.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm failing already.
You're doing great.
Okay,
I know, but it looks because
we will now move into Bill 5402, the Humanity and Community Act. So please be seated if you haven't. The parliamentarian will read this bill as well.
Okay. Yes. There's some data on this right now.
This bill aims to bring awareness to the ongoing rise of bias-based hatred expressed towards Arab, Muslim, Jewish, Israeli, Palestinian, and students of color as a result of the ongoing conflict in Gaza, and to call for the administration of CSU to do better in providing support for students affected by the conflict and advocate for a permanent ceasefire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate and the CSU community. Before I get started, we do have some floor edits for our poor parliamentarian's sake. We have sent those in advance, but I'll be reading those in full, so we'll just be going over those. The first one written, I didn't realize when I first submitted this that directors were directors in 53rd still have their title positions. So I gave Letty back her director of DEI position, love her, stand her. Change Senator Madeline Cambert's position to be ASCSU parliamentarian, which that needs to be fixed because I can't spell.
My name or my title?
For endorsements, we have added the title of co-chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Warner College Council for Senator Lutz. We have re-added the title for Georgia White, Director of Health and Wellbeing. We have also added the following members to the endorsements list. Marceline Bugard, Senator, Student Disability Center. Hai Yankowski, thank you. Senator, Warner College of Natural Resources, President, Warner College Council. Kelly Hizmati, Vice President, Warner College Council. Haley Young, Associate Senator, Warner College of Natural Resources. Emily Durock, Treasurer, Warner College Council. Adrian Salazar, CSU Community Member. Angel Hernandez, Associate Senator, Pride Resource Center. Frankie Salazar, Senator, Pride Resource Center. I forgot to add, no, I didn't, never mind. Alex Silverhart, Vice President, ASCSU. Sarah Dunn, Pride Advocate, Pride Leadership Council. Ava Ayala, former Speaker of the Senate, ASCSU. Claudia Paricio, former Speaker pro tempore, ASCSU. First whereas clause, we moved just because that happened a little bit before. And we should make a change because the 53rd Senate was able to override that veto. So if you could just make a quick language change.
Okay.
Thank you. Good queen on slate.
16-4 to.
16-3. I don't know what the abstention was. Might be 100. Two abstentions? Two abstentions. Snake. The third whereas clause, for transparency, the only changes between this bill and the original bill are as follows. The three first whereas clauses, an additional therefore clause, which calls for CSU to disclose and divest from the state of Israel. If you could finish that sentence, super sorry. Sorry, I thought I submitted that. Might be. And then that's it for that change. And then the last changes are going to be. I'm reading.
And scroll all the way down.
And we'll scroll all the way down because the rest of this bill wasn't touched. Let's go down to the therefore clauses. It's a long bill, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, why too far? Sorry.
Okay, the therefore clause reads as follows. Therefore be hereby further enacted that the Associated Students of Colorado State University call upon the Colorado State University System Board of Governors, CSU Administration, and CSU Foundation to divest all finances, including its endowment, from companies and institutions that profit from or support Israel apartheid, genocide, and occupation in Palestine, as well as a commitment to transparency regarding its funding sources and publicly detailing the affiliations and interests of its financiers. And then the last change, or two more changes, is in the very last therefore clause. We have Lance Wright, who's the interim director of SLICE, and then scroll down a little bit more. And then we have me as someone who just will get sent to because I want this signed bill in my inbox when I eventually get it. Those are all the changes that we have for this bill. Okay, now I'll actually start with reading my statement. I want to start off by saying I really don't want to be here tonight. I'd rather be down in Denver like I was supposed to be playing the future with my partner or studying on finals. But instead I'm here because tonight we are experiencing deja vu. ASCSU Senate is voting again on the Humanity and Community Act, a bill that was overwhelmingly supported from the CSU community at large. A bill that the Senate voted last week 6-2 in support and just over the veto 16-3. The 16-2 vote has an 88% approval rating. To put that into perspective, the Colorado House of Representatives has a Democrat supermajority of 46-19, totaling 65 members, which makes up 70% of the chamber. That means in order for the Colorado House to hit our same vote threshold, they would need to bring over 12 of the 19 Republicans in the House. That is a clear and strong message that students are united on this issue. And yet, despite that overwhelming support, President DeSalvo decided to veto this bill, which hasn't happened since the 50th Senate 4 years ago. And just like that last presidential veto, the Senate overruled it. Before I hand it off to my fellow bill author, there are a couple of issues I wanted to specifically address. To claim that this bill has not gone through the proper stakeholder process is nothing more than a bad faith attempt to slander the bill and the work done on this bill. The stakeholder process officially started on October 11th and is in many aspects still ongoing. Additionally, this bill went through every legislative committee and passed unanimously out of those committees, with President DeSalvo and members of his transition team being present to at least one of those committee meetings, and yet there were no complaints or anything related to this bill that he brought up during those meetings. While there were amendments from stakeholders that did not make it to the final draft of this bill, they were not ignored or were carefully considered. After all, not everything can happen on a single bill. What I want folks to focus on is that these bills should be the beginning of a conversation rather than the end. 2, to replace genocide with war crimes is playing theatrics with words. To cut to the point on this point, because I believe our community members have said it the best, you can commit war crimes without them necessarily being genocidal, but you cannot commit genocide with war crimes. To conclude my statement, to answer the question on if you don't have to be here, why am I here? That's simply because this issue is not an issue that doesn't become important just because I graduate. The bill collaborators and I have put our blood, sweat, and tears, and boy were they a lot of tears, into this bill. And I will be damned to sit on the sidelines and be silent.
Sorry, I have to share my.
Let's remain in decorum with language and also attacks, because saying something is in bad faith is one thing, but calling it slander is another. I don't want to keep reminding anybody. Okay, carry on.
First, I'd like to clarify why this bill is back before the 54th Senate, despite the fact that we just overrode the veto with the 53rd Senate. That veto override exists in a constitutional gray area. In order to ensure that this bill gets passed and represents the will of our students, we have opted to resubmit it with the 54th in the event that that gray area goes against the previous bill that we just overrode the veto on. As for my beliefs on the events concerning Israel and Palestine, I'd like to say the events of October 7th and the taking of hostages was reprehensible. All hostages should be immediately released. I also believe that Israel, like all sovereign nations, has the right to defend itself. However, this right to defend itself does not mean the wanton disregard for civilian life, the bombing of hospitals, and the bombing of aid shipments. I understand there's been a lot of concern about the use of the word genocide. I read this definition on Wednesday. I'd like to read it again. This is from the Geneva Convention, the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, Article 2. In the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such, killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group, and forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Although I understand the definition and whether or not the acts occurring in Palestine are genocide, I would rather be on the side of protecting human life rather than waiting around for international criminal judicial system to rule whether or not something is genocide. I yield.
For your presentation, or do you?
We will be doing a Q&A. I just want to let folks know that after Q&A, I will be stepping out. I am already late to my partner in Denver. Once discussion debate goes on, I will be out of here, but I encourage folks to have that discussion. We do plan to expedite this bill after Q&A, so it can get through, not have to go through the same song and dance as 5319, especially because of it being the same bill. If folks really want there to be committee review, I would encourage the Senate go into committee of the whole and make amendments in that way. So with that, I'd like to open up the period of Q&A.
Then we'll begin 10 minutes of Q&A. The first talker. Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to expedite this bill.
Then I will motion to expedite this bill.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, this bill will be expedited. We will move into discussion and debate. And it was 2 abstentions on that, I believe. I mistold you that.
I'm just kidding.
We will begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with the first talker. Senator Snyder.
Okay, so as I've stated before, the time for discussion ended long ago. We've heard the voices of our constituents. We've heard the voices of our fellow representatives. We've heard the voices of those directly affected. We have heard the people have spoken. The people have spoken, and they demand that we as their representatives vote yes on this bill. So I encourage you all to listen to our constituents, vote yes, and as I stated during the override vote, Free Palestine.
Do I see anyone else? Okay, then seeing none, we'll move out of discussion and debate and into a period of voting. I would entertain a motion of how to do this.
Motion to do this by voice vote.
Okay, all those in favor of doing this vote by a voice vote, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, and this will be done by a voice vote, and that vote will happen now. So all those in favor of passing this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Then this bill passes.
The author wanted me to make an edit of a sponsorship being moved to the endorsement. I just want to let y'all know that I will make the endorsement edit, as long as there's no objection to that.
Then seeing none, that will be made. And then we'll move into the ratification of the executive cabinet.
I motion to put the candidates on the slate.
So do we all know what it means to have candidates on the slate? Do you want me to explain that? Okay, I'll explain that to the people who maybe don't know. When we put the candidates on a slate, we basically put them all onto one. So we question them at the same time. We vote on them at the same time. And so all of the candidates will take all of the questions asked, and then we will vote yes or no on the executive cabinet as a whole and not the individual candidates. Does that make sense? Do people have any questions on that? Okay. Then do I see a second to the motion to put the candidates on a slate?
Second.
Okay. We'll do this by a voice vote. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, these candidates will be put on the slate.
Coffee at 6:30 again. 6:45, Lordy. We have some on the way up from Skeller.
Can I call division for that last vote?
Okay. Then we'll do this by a placard vote. So all those in favor of putting these candidates on the slate, please raise your hand. And this is a procedural vote, so associates may vote on this if you want to. You can put those
Do I
down.
have the list?
Then those opposed?
Do you have a list of who all is in every position so I can put it on here?
Yep, I do have. She that's maybe Jillian.
And any abstentions?
Yep.
Then by a vote of 7 to 2 to 3, these candidates will be put on the slate.
No, you're good.
All right. How is everybody doing today? Need to get the energy up. Everybody say go Rams.
Go Rams!
Yeah. I'm having coffee at 6:30 at night, so if that keys you into anything that's going on. All right. Well, this is, as you know, our executive cabinet. And these folks have gone through an extensive vetting process. And we've done our due diligence in an equitable, fair, and thoughtful hiring process. Since they are on a slate, obviously all questions will be directed to all of them unless there's an exception with that. But yeah, anything else that you would add, Chief of Staff Nunley?
No.
All right, I'll hand it to the body then.
Then we will begin Q&A with Senator Snyder.
Right. This is right. Everyone in this room knows what's coming. For the candidates, how you uphold the university's values of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Do we have a handheld?
Do we have a mic?
We don't.
Do you just want me to walk over?
Yeah, just come over one by one.
Okay,
You
we're just
would.
gonna do a little lap here.
Yep.
Okay, hello, my name is Ava Wilkins. I'm gonna be the Director of Governmental Affairs. I think the biggest part of this question is truly advocating for all students from all backgrounds. I think we've hosted a lot of events this year that have brought students together. My plan is to expand those, to expand these spaces, to make sure that they're inclusive and that we're getting truly all of the opinions. I think that's what makes a good position.
Everybody, my name is Manuel Marquez, and coming from a first generation Mexican immigrant household, I see that students need to be represented in a way that encompasses their socioeconomic and identity. And so when I'm doing my work in governmental affairs, I will have every student in mind.
Hello, my name is Sophie Manaman. I'm the Deputy Director of Finance, and I think in a more financial role, and like one of the main duties of being in that role is managing the travel grant. And so I think just giving everybody an equitable and equal opportunity to have access to that should they need or want it is a great way to do that.
Hello, I'm Sophia. I am hopefully going to be the new Deputy of Sustainability. And to me, just like upholding diversity, equity, and inclusion is just understanding that my perspective is not the only one, and just employing other people's perspectives in my decision making and making sure that events and initiatives that I plan are accessible to lots of different people.
Hi, my name is Madeline. As part of the traditions department, we're going to really focus on getting the SDPS offices involved in our tradition events. And we are going to do events for everybody and not just those that typically get events done.
Hi, my name is Chigozie Ozor, the future Director of Academic Relations, and I will uphold the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion by continuing a lot of the work that I did in my role as an Associate Senator for the back office, as well as an intern for the previous Director of DEI. And yeah, just upholding and recognizing the different academic needs of the student body.
Beyond adding the names of the candidates, you are not able to remove a position without a motion to change the agenda since there is no author, correct? Because you removed the position of Director of Basic Needs.
You're not wrong on that, and changing the agenda does require a 2/3 vote.
Who requested that change before the session started?
Is there anyone for said position? I think I know someone, but.
Did we request that?
No, that was nothing good. We can have like discussion. So what we can do with this, we can have like discussion and debate on that if that is a motion that is being made to that.
Okay. Is that?
Nor is this a point of order then?
Yes, it was.
Point of clarification, since they missed the window to make changes to the agenda, can they no longer do that now?
Any changes to the agenda require a 2/3 vote by the Senate, and there needs to be a motion, a second, and so on and so forth. And I do apologize for not catching that sooner. So, we remember where it was on the agenda.
It was after Director of Traditions, before Deputy Director of Basic Needs.
Nobody's making this easy for our first one.
Alrighty. I did not want to have to do this tonight, but unfortunately I'm put in between a rock and a hard place here. After extensive conversations with our candidate for Director of Basic Needs, we came to an agreement that it would be best to push that ratification to a later date. We felt that that ratification would be emotion fueled on all parties' sides, and that there are some concerns currently with that candidate's actions as it pertains to the ASCSU Code of Ethics. And I'd be happy to give the exact subsections on that as well. I would like to make it clear that this is not a retaliatory move, but very strictly looking at the Code of Ethics, something that we feel needs more due consideration when pertaining to a job, a person's salary, and an entire department lead. So I'll go ahead and read those sections of the Code of Ethics in Article 1.
Can you make a? I'm sure I was right.
Okay, so just to clarify that we do not get to make the ultimate decision on whether code of ethics violations have occurred. We do have a due process for that, and if you all feel comfortable with him to continue to speak on this, I would say that we have a judicial branch that makes that discernment for a reason.
Yeah. And my reasoning behind that is if there are concerns by multiple people over a portion of the Code of Ethics, I think that we should take our time and take our consideration on that. And this is by no means any sort of final decision. But again, I'll keep reading here. Section 1, subsection D, ASCSU officials shall understand their role as officials. Officials shall treat each other with and act in a professional manner. ASCSU officials shall not act in a manner to damage the image of ASCSU with the student body, the faculty, the administration, or the community. ASCSU officials shall not speak for all of ASCSU without formal approval. So those are the sections that we're going off right now. And so I would go ahead and make the motion to take the ratification of the Director of Basic Needs off the agenda. And again, reinforcing that this is not a final decision, but I feel, and the rest of the office president feels, that we must have due consideration in making this decision.
Officer Keller. This is gonna be so fun if I can do this. Am I able to yield my speaking rights to a member of the gallery? Yes, I believe. I would like to yield to a member of the gallery, Georgia specifically. So we do have a motion. Does that motion have a second?
Second.
The motion was to take the position off of the agenda. Does that motion have a second? Seeing none, then that motion will not go to a vote. Second, okay, then I would entertain a motion to open up discussion and debate on that if we want to. Or we can just move into voting. Officer Fung? Yeah, I would like to hear both sides of this because I'm having a blast right now. So yeah, that's my thing.
I believe though he yielded to the floor. We were, is that in regard
So
to the
we had
motion?
a motion. So we'll do these one at a time. We had a motion, and that motion had a second. Yes. Okay. So then all those in favor of taking the ratification of, what was it, Director of Basic Needs off of the agenda, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? Okay, the nays have that. So this will stay on the agenda.
Does my yielding still?
That's the state deputy.
So
I wanted
we
to double check. I see that.
have been in Q&A to the candidates. So I think we'll just continue with Q&A of the candidates at this time. Yeah, go ahead. Can we get maybe that question again? What was the last question that was asked?
The question that was asked. The question that was asked was, how will you uphold the universal tenets of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Basically, the question that Sammy asked every candidate all year.
Okay, well, my name is Kunique. I will be the incoming new director of traditions. And I will uphold my role by just creating events that support students and that allow them to be authentic to themselves and inclusive, allow them to be inclusive in all aspects of CSU and the whole aspects of traditions.
Hi, I'm Judah Weir. I'm going to be the co-deputy director of traditions. And I think it's really important that we uphold the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially in traditions, because we're planning events for the student body. And as the other people in my department have said, we really want to include everyone's voice and lived experience in the events that we plan.
Hi, I'm Yesenia Enriquez. I'm going to be the new director of marketing at ASCSU. I have a mission to serve all students here on campus, not just one demographic, not just one person that might have an opinion here, but my addition here to the team is to serve the whole body of students and how we can express the opinions that we might have, as well as the events that we might be able to promote. We want to be able to promote successful events to all students. So yeah, I'm ready to get to work.
Hello, my name is Lily. I'm going to be the Deputy Director of Graphic Design, and I believe diversity, equity, and inclusion is important by just listening to people, understanding people's lived experiences, and using the position I have to represent the whole student body here at CSU. Hello all, my name is Georgia White. I'm Director of Basic Needs. I think that DEI is so much more than we often think about it in this space. It can really be embedded and ingrained in every single aspect of executive cabinet, Senate, and judicial branches. It's at the forefront of my mission, and I don't think that we can foster authentic connection without centering diversity, equity, inclusion. And what this looks like is specific initiatives to address that. One way that I did that throughout this year is by advocating for multicultural counseling drop-in hours within the LSC. We were able to secure an office within the LSC, which was super awesome. And those drop-in hours will be beginning next semester. Things like this. We really need to make sure that the resources that we have are getting into the hands of the people who need them most. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lauren Johnson. I'm going to be coming in as the Deputy Director of Basic Needs. Something that actually happened to me today was I was tabling out on the plaza, giving out free emergency contraceptives. As someone came up to me, not being aware of what birth control is or what emergency contraceptives are. And that really honestly made my day to be able to share that information with someone, impact them. That one little moment is also stemming this huge conversation, this connection with that student. And that's something that I want to implement on a broad scale, a wide scale for all students. And foster that diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you.
Hi all, my name is Jillian. I'm the incoming Deputy Chief of Staff. To me, DEI really means a mutual understanding of one another that arises from a respect of our differences. And so in this role, we'll all be supporting the different cabinet positions and their initiatives. I think that means that I'm ensuring that I'm granting them both the respect and the resources so that they feel entirely seen and entirely heard, so that they have the ability to thrive in their respective roles.
Hi everyone, I'm Tangi. I'm going to be the incoming Director of Finance. And for what DEI means to me, I think, as you all know, I'll be meeting with a ton of different RSOs throughout the year, so just making sure that whenever anyone from any background, whatever it may be, feels included and feels like they have the resources and the help that they need, either from the Department of Finance or any other department in cabinet. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Godshaw. I'm going to be the Director of Public Relations. I think that this one really hits home for me is because I currently am the Deputy Director of D&I here on campus. And I uphold these values not only in this position, but in all of the different positions and all the different roles that I hold on campus. And I plan on bringing that to the front and center of public relations, because not only can I exercise that through my own department by making sure that everybody's identities are brought to the front and everybody's voices are heard, but also that making sure that I'm holding my other fellow cabinet members up to the same standard that they would hold me, and just cooperating among all of ASCSU to make sure, not individually, but as an institution where I'm holding these values.
If that's everyone, then I yield.
We have 3.5 minutes left. Just a heads up, unless we want to extend.
Yeah, go ahead. Hello, you all seem like very lovely individuals. My question digs deeper. And I'm all looking at you. Motion to extend the time. 10 minutes.
Do I see a second to that motion? Second. Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, the time of Q&A will be extended by 10 minutes.
Okay. You all seem like very lovely individuals, like I said. My question does dig deeper. I am currently the only person representing the undocumented community here today in the Senate. So my question is, what efforts are you all going to make to represent the undocumented community? We have not been seen, we have not been heard. So please, let me know.
All right, so obviously I'll be within the role of governmental affairs, which I feel like works directly with elected officials and can be a really powerful platform. To be quite honest with you, I am not aware of a ton of policies and would love to personally connect with you and with the community about steps that I can take. I've been in conversations with local officials, with state representatives, and I think that this is a critical issue and I would love to work on it. I just need more information from you. So if you want to catch me after, we can talk about it. I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah, I come from a non-documented family, and so my role here is going to be to push for more funding for undocumented students here, because to my understanding is very much underfunded, and I would love to see laws passed in the state that pushes for more funding for undocumented students specifically.
I think that being in a financial role gives you a really good platform to diversify the group of people that we serve. And I think that is the undocumented community is a great way to do that, to reach more people and to just help them feel more included and they have the opportunity to receive funds or to do anything that they would like to do.
Hello, so as the Deputy of Sustainability, I understand that sustainability reaches everyone, it impacts everyone. I mean, everyone lives on this earth, and that's what we're trying to protect first and foremost, my role at least. And I just want to make sure that undocumented students feel like they have a voice and that they will not be judged, because this is an issue that hits very close to home for me, and I know that everyone's voices should be heard, and there's no wrong way to come here. So
Is it live, right? I think we met on the plaza a couple months ago. You asked how to get involved with ASCSU, and I think I connected you with Lexi, the current director of DEI, so I'm really happy to see you here. Yes, supporting undocumented immigrants is huge in the traditions department. I'm sure we are very capable of holding specific events for undocumented immigrants. And yeah, we would love to hear more and collaborate on that.
I think it's a very important issue to support the undocumented community here at CSU. And I think that the reality for the majority of undocumented students here is that they are first generation students. And I think as the Director of Academic Relations, I will support the undocumented community by continuing to further initiatives that help make the transition into college for first generation students more easy and helping further the resources to ensure that their academic careers flourish.
Again, as the Director of Traditions, we as the whole kind of staff want to make sure and promote events to all students, so undocumented students as well, making sure that everyone is included in those spaces, and like Deputy Director Maddie said, creating events that center around those students so they feel included and valued here.
Kind of along those same lines, we really, in the traditions department, want to make sure that students are included and that there are events specifically planned for them. I know I work in the office for the Vice President of Student Affairs, and there's been a lot of talk about how to help undocumented individuals, and so I've seen some of that work, and I really hope to continue that within traditions around like really actually getting to those students, because I know communication can be difficult, and making sure that they really do feel like they are a part of CSU's community. So yeah, thank you.
First of all, I want to really thank you for opening up as well and sharing with us in this space as well. I myself identify as a first generation student, so thank you for sharing. Overall, as Director of Marketing, it is important to spread the word, spread awareness about how we can support students here on campus. As I mentioned before, I want to serve 100% of the students, not just 10%, not 50%, all of it. How can we advocate for students like yourself, maybe other students that might identify as first generation? Maybe can we host events? Can we host guest speakers? What can we do? And I would love to have a conversation with you as well. So yeah, let's do it.
Hi, so my role is officially Deputy Director of Graphic Design, which might seem a little like disconnected from this issue. I think it's actually really, really important that we're reaching people, especially when we're hosting these really cool events and things that I'm sure that everyone here is planning, making sure that it's reaching those people who need it and need those resources, making sure that they know about it and can actually use them.
First, I'd just like to take a second and thank you for your critical question, because we need more of those in our space, and it's important. I think that when we think about the treatment of undocumented students here at CSU and across the nation, it's a wicked issue, right? So we have to make sure that we are tackling it from multiple different lenses, from the policy and institutional systemic side, but then also from the community side. One way, an actionable item that I really want to implement in our space is figuring out how we can work with the Career Center and their fellowship program, because that's currently one of the only ways that students without documentation can get paid for student staff jobs on campus. And I think that a lot of other offices have utilized that resource to make sure that they're allowing for accessible hiring and just like people within their offices and departments. And I think that's something that we really need to highlight here too.
Hi, Lauren Johnson again. I just want to let you know that I see you and I hear you. One of my closest friends I grew up with did not tell me she was undocumented until we were 17 years old because of the fear and the stigma that this causes. I've seen that impact her here at CSU, getting involved in things, trying to get work. I see that there's students, there's teachers that have I support undocumented, and there's teachers that do not. I see this issue is the most basic need that undocumented students are able to get everything that they need and more from the university. And the fact that there is limits to that makes me have a very, very passionate reaction to it. And I want to absolutely support you in any way that I can and the undocumented students. Thank you.
Hello again. Yeah, as Deputy Chief of Staff, as I'm, guiding these departments through the initiatives, it'll be entirely my job to make sure that issues such as these, such as the lack of support of undocumented students on campus, is not being overlooked, but instead we're being really intentional about the issues that we're pouring our resources into, and we're being intentional about making sure those are critical questions that we're answering. And so as I'm guiding them through their initiatives, it's making sure that I'm giving them the right resources and the right support to correctly address those critical issues. Hi again. Thank you for that question. I think that this definitely needs to be talked about. And actually, in these last few months, it's something that I've thought a lot about, and I would love to talk with you, one-on-one, just to, understand this community more. But I think there is stuff to be done on the policy side of things, but I think there is also a lot to be done, on the community side, so one-on-one with people. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Something that I want to touch on that you mentioned is that you are the only person who is here. You're the voice who's bringing this issue to our ears. Something that I want to focus on is elevating the voices of those who are willing and able, who share those exact same identities or something similar, to make sure that we are bringing everybody's voices to ASCSU. And then from there, we can get a better understanding of the picture, because I don't quite understand the issue and its complexities and its holes. And so I'd love to meet with you, anybody else, or anybody else who feels that they have a stake in this factor, to see what the best course of action is that we can get together. Thank you.
Okay, we do have someone on Zoom, and I'm so sorry. Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So if you could unmute, and then do we want to restate the question, or do you feel comfortable?
Hi, so my name is Jabril Dempsey. I can answer both questions if need be.
Yes, if you could.
Okay, so for DEI, I intend to use my position to amplify voices of marginalized and historically underrepresented students instead of speaking for them. I bring several years of DEI service from the lens of student, employee, and community member. And these unique experiences introduced me to leadership, resulting in my attendance of several leadership retreats and earning different positions. And with this background, I'll meet with campus representatives to create a safe and welcoming environment for students, staff, and faculty at CSU. And then for undocumented students, I've created an action plan and goals for the upcoming school year, which includes meeting with several departments around CSU to create this welcoming and inclusive and safe environment for all students, documented or undocumented, first student or not, such as speaking with Upward Bound, talking to the different cultural centers around CSU, and utilizing my position on Women and Gender Equity Board of Fort Collins in order to make these topics more transparent and more talked about. Sorry for the rush.
Okay, so that was the original question, and then we have about a minute and a half. We need to restate the second question everyone just answered?
Yes, please.
How are you planning to support undocumented students at CSU?
Understood. So one of my friends is a graduate student who's also undocumented, and he has told me personally about different resources that are around CSU that are not shared with undocumented students. I plan to use him and his experiences as a starting point in order to make undocumented students not only feel more supported, but really amplify what already exists in order for them to succeed and thrive at CSU.
I want to thank all of you for your responses. This isn't going to be easy work. My community lives in fear every single day. We are under a constant stress and pressure. We could be deported tomorrow. I recommend all of you to do your research. I recommend all of you to look for resources. Know our struggles. Know our defeats. Know our victories. I yield my time.
How much time do we have left? Is that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that is time on Q&A.
I just want to say that I messed up time, but I didn't feel like my mistake should hinder any of these candidates. So we did go over time, and I just want to be transparent about that. I just didn't want that to harm anybody as we work out the feelers and smooth out the kinks of the 54 Senate. So again, thank you all for your patience.
Then we'll now move into a time of voting, discussion and debate. Do the candidates have to?
Yes.
Okay. I will ask you all to step outside, please.
Oh, we did that.
I'm gonna try to make it.
We will begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Senator Davis.
I think they're all good. I think I'll have really good answers. And obviously they've been through other interview processes. They've gone through the training. They're ready for these roles, and I think that they're like answers and body. So, someone else after me? Okay, never mind. I do.
I do think all of these candidates are definitely very equipped and so the motion would be to go to previous question so that then we would be voting on the candidates. Was there any dissent to that motion? Okay. Then we will now begin voting. If I see any motions with that. Begin, Senator Snyder.
Motion to approve these candidates with unanimous consent.
Do I see any, that was a motion to approve the candidates with unanimous consent.
Point of
Do I
order,
see any
will
dissent
you
to
use
that?
your microphone, pretty please?
Motion to approve these candidates with unanimous consent.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, these candidates will be accepted with unanimous consent.
Hold the applause.
You can clap for yourself, but.
Are we all saying at the same time? Yeah. Oh, oh. I can hear what at the same time.
Okay, the most important thing is that all of you can hear me. Can you hear me? All of you hear me? All right. Everyone raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Georgia Lyons,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
To defend and uphold.
to defend and uphold
The rules and regulations.
the rules and regulations
Set forth by the Constitution.
set forth by the Constitution
Of the Associated Students of Colorado State University.
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
And will rightfully perform.
and will rightfully perform
The duties of my office.
the duties of my office
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Colin. You guys want to take a
We'll now move into the elections committee chair, beginning with the DEI Affairs Committee. Do I see any nominations beginning with Senator Salazar?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Do I see any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Senator Mitchell Myers.
Do I see any additional nominations? Then I will ask the candidates to come up, please. So we will decide which one of you will go first, and then the other one will take a step outside, please.
How do we want to do that?
You'll have 10 minutes to give a presentation if you want to.
Cool. Hi, Senate. My name is Mitchell Myers, and I use the he series of pronouns, and I'm a third year studying biomedical sciences and Spanish. I'm here in front of you today because I would like to be the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Affairs Committee. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are all part of the CSU and ASCSU mission and are huge priorities of mine. Last session, I served as an associate senator for the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, and am now a senator for that same college. I have a robust background in servant leadership here at CSU. I began working on campus as an orientation leader where I oriented over 5,000 first-year students last summer and led a team of Ram Welcome leaders during Ram Welcome. Last fall, I was a peer facilitator where I co-taught a first-year student success class with the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs, Jody Donovan. If you don't know her, she's great. And we'll be returning to that role in the fall. Lastly, I had the opportunity to join a lab in the microbiology department where my research included assessing the impact of incorporating diverse scientists onto the perception of scientists by STEM students. So I know firsthand how important diversity is to students, and as a chair, I will make my priority to advocate for diverse students everywhere. I am aware that I do not represent an SDPS office. However, I do represent diverse students, as do we all. And I will make it a priority of the committee to establish clear and consistent communication with all SDPS offices by emailing each SDPS director when I have a set time for the committee, reminding them of the time of the committee, as well as reaching out to SDPS officers like the senators. And I will also do my best to attend as many SDPS events as I can. Thank you.
We will begin 10 minutes of Q&A with the first platform. If anybody has any questions?
Okay, you know what's coming. You know what's coming. You want me to ask it?
You're all good. I know it's coming. So DEI is an incredibly important topic. I think, today has really shown that it is an incredibly important topic, not only in this space, but to all of the students that we represent. I have done 1,000,001 DEI trainings in my many roles that I've had on campus. And I take each one of them extremely seriously because diversity, equity, and inclusion and justice are all terms to be taken very seriously. Additionally, as I mentioned before, my research project included assessing the impact of incorporating diverse scientists on STEM students and how they view their ability to go into science and their ability to do science. And so I truly, truly know firsthand how important it is to have diverse voices and to have conversations about DEI, especially in spaces like this. Does that answer your question, Senator Snyder?
My question, I yield.
Microphone, please.
Answers my question, I yield.
Do you have any other questions? Okay, seeing none, you can step outside and the other candidates come in. You have 10 minutes to give a presentation if you want to.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. To me, that means representing the student body as a whole. That means representing other people other than myself, other than any identities I may hold. It comes down to whether or not I can represent everybody, which, in all honesty, I don't know everybody. I don't know everyone. I can't say that I can do it, but I'm going to try my hardest to do it. I'm going to try to reach out to anyone and everyone that I can to talk to them, to see their points of views, to see where they come from, to see their identities, to see their histories, to see anything that comes down to them, because I'm just a representative of the student body. I'm not, I'm elected by my constituents. I represent the Pride Center. I am an older generation student, so I can connect with ALVS. I'm a Hispanic student. I connect with El Centro. Do I hold these identities more often than others? No, I hold them all to the same capacity. And it doesn't, to me, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to see my vision in school, what I'm trying to see with the DEI chair, it comes down to including everybody and every identity possible that I can see that comes down and talks to me, that I reach out and talk to them. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to represent the school. I'm trying to help chair. What I'm trying to do at the end of the day is I'm not the perfect candidate. I don't think I am the perfect candidate, but I'm going to try my hardest to represent the people I represent and the people I don't represent. Because I'm going to reach out. I'm going to try my best to reach out, and I'm going to try my best to talk to everyone.
We'll begin 10 minutes of Q&A
Oh, my bad.
with Senator Snyder.
Okay, so,
The Sammy question?
yep,
The Sammy question?
yep.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yep, will you uphold the intent of diversity, equity, inclusion? If this feels too much like your speech, I will yield to redundancy.
Mostly comes down to my speech, but at the same time, let's. Yeah, no, I think I covered everything on my speech with that one.
All right, then I yield to redundancy.
Any additional questions? Okay, seeing none, you can step outside. And we will begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Associate Senator Miller.
Okay, that's cool. I've known Mitch since I started in ASCSU, and he's such a mindful person, and he really listens to the opinions of everyone around him and really takes that all into account. He's a really great guy. I think he's extremely well qualified, and I think that he would do a really, really great job in this role. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Snyder.
Okay, so I've known Frankie a while. I've seen them from when they first came into the Senate to today, and they are very committed. They have a lot of experience. I believe that they would be an amazing candidate for to be the chair of diversity, equity, inclusion.
Do you have anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move into voting, which we'll do by a secret ballot vote.
Motion to use a placard vote.
Does that motion have a second?
Second.
Just one at a time.
Um, We'll vote on that. We'll discuss that. All those in favor of doing this vote by a placard vote, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Then this vote will be done by a placard vote. So we will do this, I will say both names of the candidates and you can vote for which candidate you want to. If you want to, you can also abstain, and that would be an option. Does that all make sense? Do we have any questions on that? Okay. Then all those in favor of Senator Mitchell Myers? Where's his pocket? You can put those down. And those in favor of Senator Salazar? And any abstentions? Then with a vote of 7 to 3 to 1, Senator Myers will be the next chair of the DEI committee.
Do I see something in the
I can just announce it.
Okay, okay.
You got it? Okay, thank you. Fantastic.
I didn't tell
Congratulations to Senator Mitchell Myers on being elected to be the DEI chair. You can stay up. Yeah. We don't have anyone with judicial. Okay, and I will do that. So if you want to step up to the mic and then raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mitchell Myers,
Do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth
the rules and regulations set forth
by the Constitution
by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
by the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we'll move into the we'll now move into the election of the Internal Affairs Committee Chair. Yeah, go ahead. I will open it to nominations. I nominate Senator Elliott Lutz. Do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Do I see any additional nominations? Okay, then you can come up with yourself. Internal, by the way, in my totally unbiased opinion, is the best committee. Maybe it's a little biased, I don't know. Then you'll have 10 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ellie Lutz. I'm a senator for the Warner College of Natural Resources. I have been in ASCSU now on and off for about 2 years. I joined my first year of college. I was elected as the vice chair of internal affairs. I served on the student fee review board my first year. Second year, I served as vice chair of the DEI committee. And I started off as an associate senator for the Pride Resource Center. I'm going to preemptively answer Senator Snyder's question because I want to take the fun away from that. I work in the Warner College of Natural Resources Diversity and Inclusion Office, which has given me insight to what DEI is. It has given me so many challenges. And I think aside from the DEI committee, DEI is important to every single committee. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be focusing on DEI everywhere. Working to promote diverse students, diverse lenses, everything like that. That job has given me the great opportunity to meet people I disagree with even, and learn how to communicate with them. I'm also a first-year peer mentor in the Pride Resource Center, which has given me the ability to work with first-year students as well as get to know them and help them transition to CSU. So yeah, that's my statement.
And we'll begin 10 minutes of Q&A with the first block of. No? Okay, then seeing none, you can step outside and we can move into discussion and debate. We'll begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Officer Kelly.
So many tough choices, so many great applicants. But I think everyone's answer should be clear. So I would like to motion the previous question.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, then we'll now move into voting. If we have any motions on voting.
I motion to approve this candidate with unanimous consent.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Then this candidate is accepted with unanimous consent. And please, yep, thank you. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ellie Lutz,
Do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Clarification real quick. I don't think you put housing caucus on there.
Oh, you're right.
Then we will now move to the election of the University Affairs Committee Chair. Opening this up to nominations, beginning with Officer Kelly.
Yeah, I would like to nominate Associate Miller.
Do you accept this nomination?
Yes, I do.
Do I see any additional nominations? Seeing none, you can come up. And you have 10 minutes to give a speech if you want to.
Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Fiona Miller. I am an associate senator for the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. I am a second-year biomedical sciences student. Primarily, why I'm interested in this role. I mean, I think that, no hate to how committees run this year, but I think that really leaning into how the bylaws define the role of the committees and committee chairs would be really, really beneficial in ensuring that Senate is doing what we can to its fullest capacity, I think. So I do have ideas for this, which is cool. So I was thinking about suggesting that potentially we could make the University Affairs Chair a kind of permanent fixture in LSAT because in section 2A, subsection B and C of the bylaws, it says, the Senate University Affairs Committee shall deal with affairs pertaining to the university-wide student needs and concerns, as well as any matters relating to building external partnerships with local and state government in order to respond to CSU needs or concerns. And the University Affairs Committee shall also be responsible for maintaining contact with the Colorado Student Government Coalition in order to advance statewide legislative efforts, assuming the committee is in agreement with the given objectives. So potentially making the University Affairs Chair a permanent fixture in LSAT would better connect, I think, executive branch and legislative branch, as well as making sure we're connected in the sense of looking at state and local government. Also, we do need to amend the bylaws in the sense of Colorado Student Government Coalition kind of not existing anymore, which is real. So, am I wrong?
Just so y'all know, the Colorado Student Government Coalition, as Evan could probably attest, exists. It's just coming out of COVID. But we're gonna amend so much. It's gonna be great.
Real. So, ideas. super fun, super cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
And we'll begin with 10 minutes of Q&A with Senator Snyder.
All right. How will you uphold the university values of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Diversity and inclusion are super, super important to everything we do. Is a really core foundation of what we do in the sense of everyone's involved in DEI and that kind of thing. I think it's truly a basic need. It's what people need to feel like they belong with in a space, and it makes people feel more comfortable, more likely to participate. So keeping those kind of things in mind as I move through this role, as well as listening to the concerns of others, and making sure that everyone's needs are being met to the best of my ability, I think are extremely important.
All right, I yield.
Chair Meyer.
How will you encourage people to attend your committee?
I kind of said at the joke one time that I was gonna be like, hey, guys, I'm gonna bring Capri Suns, but I'm never gonna tell you when I'm gonna bring Capri Suns. So it's like, you know, like psychology class. I'm gonna like, you like condition someone to do something, but like they never know when they're gonna get the reward, so they're always gonna be there waiting for the reward, and then one day they'll get rewarded. But that's insane. Might bring Capri Suns, but also I think it's also, I don't think it should be so much on the committee chair, especially because it very much is in senators and associate senators job descriptions to be attending committees, and if they're not doing that, they're not fulfilling what's the word? No, I mean like the duties of their office. Thank you. So I think that that's not necessarily on the committee chair, but also, guys, I really like Capri Suns, and I like excuses to buy Capri Suns. So maybe you'll get Capri Suns. Depends when you come.
I'll take it. I yield.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, you can sit outside. Not calling on people yet. Still waiting. Still not calling on people yet. We'll begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with the first word talker, which is Senator Davis.
She's cool. She obviously has ideas for university affair, which is unique because not a lot of people come into committees having ideas, which I think is really cool because it's not, sorry, Graham, it's not the most widely attended committee.
I did better than internal.
That being said, I think that she would make a very good candidate, and I would like to motion to previous question.
Does that motion have a second? Do I see any dissent to that motion?
I dissent, but then I'm gonna undissent. I just want to make this comment. I'm in full support of Pavloving senators to get them to attend committee. I do.
Point of information, I do believe that that is considered psychological torture. I'm not 100% sure though.
Isn't psychological torture a war crime almost?
Okay, this has become non-germane. I'm sorry I opened that door.
Do I see any dissent to the motion to previous question? Okay, seeing none.
Graham Kelly, do not move.
To we're voting, beginning with Senator Snyder. Wait, yeah, no, go ahead, Jeff.
Motion to approve candidate with unanimous consent.
Do I see any dissent? Then this candidate is.
I said no.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Go. Go.
We gotta have a little fun, right?
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Fiona Miller,
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Now move into the election of the Budgetary Affairs Committee. Do I see any nominations? Senator Davis.
Motion to table budgetary affairs until the next session.
Second.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Then that election will be tabled until the next session. Yeah, tabled, what that means, if anybody doesn't know, is that we don't do that today and we will do that at some point in the future.
Isn't the correct terminology post?
I believe it is postponed.
I wanted to give some clarification on that because at the beginning of the year, when we adopted new bylaws, tabling implies tabling indefinitely unless you specifically state table until X amount of point in time.
And the motion, I believe, was until the next meeting, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
So we're there, but yes, we should try to veer away from using the word table unless we're doing so indefinitely.
Then we'll move into the election of the students of the Oval Caucus Chair. Do I see any nominations?
I nominate myself.
Do I see any additional nominations? Seeing none, you can come up.
Do I have your name spelled right? Right? Do I have your name spelled right? Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shauna. For those who don't know, it's spelled like Sienna. You may get it confused. It's not your fault. So as one of the original collaborators of this bill for this caucus to be created, I am not only proud that this caucus was even passed, but I would be very honored to be the chair. I have worked since the age of 12 to serve in very several leadership roles. I have been both the lieutenant governor and president of Key Club, a high school level nonprofit organization. And I have also served student council for 4 years. In my short time at CSU, I have connected further than my constituency on both personal and professional level. And I would like to do that within this caucus and for the ASCSU organization. My job as chair is to not just represent any singular constituency, but to listen and have that direct conversation with the student body. Like a senator had previously stated before, not every opinion will be represented in this space. And for this caucus, I would like to hear every opinion, and I would like to act as that liaison or that mediator for that conversation to be upheld. So with that being said, thank you.
We will begin 10 minutes of Q&A with Officer Kelly.
Straight up, I'm still confused about what this caucus does, but that's neither here nor there, not a concern of mine. It's supposed to bring people in, I'm pretty sure. How do you plan to do that?
Hey, I feel like the best way, in my opinion, is not just tabling, but just reaching out. I feel like that's very vague to say, but the purpose of the caucus, just like indirectly answer the question we didn't actually ask, but it's supposed to be an outreach. So we're not just connecting with senators and those in the ASU space, but to connect with those on the outside who don't even know what ASU does. So it's just supposed to act as that. Think of it as a little like conversation space, right? So for those who have like very, non-germane, views on ASCSU, that's the space that they're able to have that conversation, to connect with the senators that represent them. So how I would bring them in is not only just like connecting with the senators as their representatives, but just to have that conversation on the outside, like in my own personal time.
Cool, I yield.
see any additional questions? Senator Snyder?
Okay. How will you uphold the university's values of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I love that question. It's like I haven't heard it before. For those who don't know, I wear this bracelet every single day because it represents the colors of my culture. I am actually Jamaican, for those who don't know, so I understand exactly what it means to have that inclusivity for those who don't necessarily feel welcomed in multiple spaces. I'm very grateful to have been welcomed into the ACU space, but I feel like not many do have that opportunity or are even acknowledged in the first place. So how I would not only uphold but share those values is just just sharing my experience at CSU and in ACSU, just to like give those that little hope that, you know, they are also going to be heard.
I yield.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, you can step outside and we can do a discussion and debate. We'll begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Officer Cook.
I'd like to motion the previous question.
We have to have some discussion and debate.
I'm the wrong person for this. I would like to yield to Chair Miller.
Shauna's cool. She's so cool. I think she said a lot of valuable things. That's you, Graham.
Thank you, Chair Miller. In terms of weather, we got a nice cold front coming down. Yeah, is that good enough?
Okay.
Oh, I would like to yield to Jakai. Thank you. Okay, so not in terms of weather. Actually, Shauna is amazing. Okay, so Shauna is phenomenal. Shauna, me and Shauna, we go way back, like 2 rims on a Cadillac. Nonetheless, though, Shauna is actually one of the most phenomenal people. She has a giving heart, a pouring heart, a compassionate heart. I just know that she would nurture and treat this caucus like it was her brainchild, even though it was my brainchild, and I begged and plead to her like on a bended knee that she would please take care of this. And I just know she will. And I wouldn't have brought it to her and a few other members of this Senate body if I didn't think she would tender, like give it all the TLC that it needed. I want to say so many great things about Shauna, but the most being what she's taught me. Shauna has taught me to consider what I'm not. And I always like to think about like personality tests that I take and everything. And in one of those tests, it said I think about what has already worked for me, and I keep doing that. And what I often don't think about is what could work better. Shauna is one of those people who think about what's currently working and what could work better. And she also challenges me to do the same. So as much as y'all might see me and Shauna play and joke, Shauna is phenomenal. And I wholeheartedly know that she would be amazing and she would just put the bow and the cherry on top of this. So.
And for a point of clarification, you can speak in this space with your, is it ASCSU? Want to make sure I'm saying that right. So yeah, you can get on a speakers list. You didn't have to it didn't have to be done that way. I'm really excited that you're here to speak, but I just want to let you know.
So,
Oh no, Zoom connection.
okay, I don't think we're gonna get a better comment and discussion debate than from Jakai, so I would like to motion the previous question.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Yeah, then we'll move into voting. Senator Snyder,
Motion to approve this candidate with unanimous consent.
do I see any dissent to that motion? And this candidate is accepted with unanimous consent.
Go.
You may. You know where he's gonna walk her? Oh, okay.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Shauna Butler,
Do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Your handwriting is so wrong.
We will now move into the election of the Accessibility Caucus Chair. Do I see any nominations? Seeing none, we will do this at a later time. We will move into the election of the Housing Caucus Chair, Senator Salazar.
Like to nominate Morgan Snyder.
Do you accept this nomination?
I accept.
Do I see any additional nominations?
Please hold, I believe there is one coming from the Zoom in a second.
Oh, yeah, we have a hand up.
We do have a hand up. Who is it?
We have Faraz Bakari. If you would like to nominate yourself, you may unmute and do so.
Oh, hello? Is this working? Oh, howdy. Current Housing Caucus Chair, I'd like to, and what's the word? Put forth.
Nominate?
Yeah, nominate. That's the great word. Lauren Davis, Senator Lauren Davis.
Do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Do I see any additional nominations? Then the two candidates can come up, please.
Oh, what am I doing?
And the two of you can decide who wants to go.
You can start.
Okay.
I'm gonna move this. I'm so sorry this is integrated this way.
Yeah, just say when I can go.
Go ahead.
All right. Hello. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Morgan Snyder, and I'm running to be the chair of the Housing Caucus. Now, my qualifications for this is that, well, I accidentally helped found the committee at the same time as Speaker Taylor, on complete accident, but that should show that how passionate I am about housing rights and housing in general. And if I'm chosen to be the director, to be the chair of Housing Caucus, I'm going to work with basic needs, housing and dining, off-campus life, and Rams Against Hunger with a goal of trying to reduce student homelessness by with my hopes a minimum of 10% by the end of the 55th session. The main thing is that okay, so we beat U+2. What's next? We're gonna need to work on rent control. We're gonna need to work on getting that cost of living down. We're gonna need to get to work on emergency housing. Housing Caucus has a lot of things ahead of us, and so I believe that with my plans of working with various groups both within the university and outside the university with groups like Lumen or what?
Sorry, I had it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. With groups such as Lumen, Fort Collins Homeless Connect, and so on, we can help better the housing problems for all students for all Rams in the university.
Then we will begin 10 minutes of Q&A. with the first where's hand, which I believe was Chair Bukwari on Zoom.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know my hand was still raised. My fault, Chief.
Okay, moving to Senator Salazar.
Morgan.
The same question.
These are my own medicine. Anyway, okay, so diversity, equity, and inclusion are paramount for housing. In fact, housing discrimination is a major problem. Is a major problem. It's one of the reasons we fought against U+2 in the first place. It's for their discriminatory practices. I believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion means listening to all voices across all voices, no matter where they come from, and ensuring that everyone feels represented at the table. And as I said with housing, this is extremely important. This is extremely important due to the issue of housing discrimination, which will still be a major issue following in this post U+2 era.
Do we have any additional questions? Seeing none, you can step outside.
Thank you.
Don't you love these pauses in between when like nothing happens?
We need sponsors, like commercials.
Can we actually? Can I make fake commercials? Not Senate.
You can begin at this time.
Hi, everybody. Bear with me, I'm a little bit like nervous and it's been a long day. And I wasn't super prepared for this, but I do have a document of stuff. So I'm Lauren. I'm currently a senator for the SAFE Center, formerly known as the WGAC. I love Housing Caucus. I have attended every single session since it started, minus like a couple times that I maybe missed for work or being sick. But and even when I did miss it, I was able to like get the agenda that we had gone over, and I was really able to follow up with everything. So I really, really try to go to Housing Caucus as much as I can. I have been there since the start and kind of helped Faraz build it up from where it started. And so I'm super passionate about Housing Caucus and watching it blossom. And it's gone from like 4 members the first time to, I think recently we had like 20 members, which was crazy awesome. And so I think that this can be something that can continue to blossom and can continue to be a really good thing. So recently I met with the current chair, Faraz, who also nominated me. And we wanted to talk just about next year because we want to see this as something that's going to continue and something that's going to continue to grow. So we came up with a whole list of things that we want to do. We want to have like permanent seats for off-campus life, residence leadership program, housing and dining services, faculty. We want to kind of keep the town hall trend. We hosted a town hall for Braden Dining Center recently. We want to talk a lot with Rams Against Hunger and the Food Security Advisory Council. And we really, one of the main goals that we want for Housing Caucus is to go from primarily housing to basic needs as a whole, because that's really something that affects the students here at Colorado State University is basic needs. And so I think that having a space where students can come in and not only, air their grievances, but also work to get past that and how we can fix that is a really important thing to have. And so we want to make this a space where students can come in and feel heard. And we want to make this a really community accessible space. We don't just want it to be like a purely Senate thing or purely ASCSU thing. We want people to come in and talk about the issues that they see, because this housing is something that affects every single student on campus. Students need a place to live, they need food to eat. It's basic survival. And so we want to make this something that will embody that. Furthermore, we also want to make it so that it's not just on or off campus housing. We really want to combine those because like I'm currently a freshman, I live on campus. And so there's a whole group of issues and things that happen with on campus housing. And there's a whole nother aspect that that I haven't experienced, but I will experience next year with off-campus housing. And so really just combining those and making both of those something that gets talked about. Summer plans, we want to continue through the summer. Housing lasts all year round. People need a place to live all year round. And so we plan on meeting like once a week-ish during the summer. Me, the current chair, as well as anyone else, everyone's invited. You're all invited to Housing Caucus Summer. But kind of just to continue and talk about our goals for the next year and how we can make this still an accessible thing for students during the summer when times where they aren't in school, they don't have as much access to Rams Against Hunger or on-campus housing, dining halls, they don't have that access. We still want to make it a space where we are able to recognize that. I also, as a senator for the WGAC, want to work and want to collab with other caucuses, specifically Women's Caucus. I am currently the vice chair of Women's Caucus, so I know kind of how a caucus is run and how it's supposed to be run in terms of like formality reasons. But I want to establish like kind of a Title IX sexual harassment training that's dorm specific, because that's something that I've heard a lot about recently is how there's a lot of issues within the dorms and within on-campus housing. And I think that that's something that needs to be addressed. Again, we also want to continue allowing it to be a space that's focused on the students, and we want to bring faculty in. We don't want students to have to talk about faculty behind their backs or vice versa. We want people to work together, but it still needs to be focused on students because at the end of the day, this is something that affects students. We want to do more educational programming, collabing with Rams Against Hunger, Kendall Reagan Nutrition Center, Off-Campus Life, everyone to kind of make that transition from dorms to off-campus housing easier, especially because the current chair is like an RA. And so it's like a really tough transition. And so we want to make sure that accessibility to basic needs and to housing and to food is covered, especially by ours. And I've been working really closely with the current director of Basic Needs, Georgia. She comes to Housing Caucus every single week. And so we've talked a lot about this and like making it, having educational programs. And finally, I don't know how much time I have left. Since Morgan's not here to ask me a question, I'll answer it myself. DEI is an extremely important part of this because it is inherent to the food and housing insecurity issue. DEI and food and housing and insecurity go hand in hand because it is kind of a wicked problem. The fact that housing insecurity affects mostly students of color, of low socioeconomic status, of any sort of marginalized identity is something that we need to have at the back of our minds always when talking about housing. And so I think that that's a really important thing to implement with Housing Caucus. I'll open the floor to questions now. I know I talked a lot.
We will begin 10 minutes of Q&A with the first responder. No questions?
It's okay if not.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying
Yes.
to.
Thank you. Chair whoever on Zoom.
Oh, I just want to say you did great. You're awesome.
Thanks for that.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we can take a step outside. Thank you. We will begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Chair Miller.
I really like Lauren. I think she has so many resources to like give out for like housing stuff, whatnot. Like I'm in the Housing Caucus group chat, and she just like someone asked, and she just gave like the website link within like 10 minutes of being asked of it. For like I think it was people who were looking for new roommates, and that was really cool of her. I don't know how she had that, but that's really cool of her. And I think that she has a lot of resources. She has clearly a lot of plans, and I think she did a great job.
Do you yield? Chair Buckner.
Really just wanted to hit the chair part. Okay.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It really is. I would just like to say I'm abstaining because I strongly believe both of them are incredibly passionate about the Housing Caucus. Being in like my go-to, My go-to like committee or caucus is like DEI, and Morgan is literally always advocating in that space. And not just in that space, I've seen him just like advocate outside as well. He's done so much for the housing caucus already. So I just know that he is very much capable of going forth with that. Same with, well, not same, but like similar, Lauren, I know that she has a lot of ideas, and I know that she's very much capable of like bringing the housing caucus to like different heights. So I strongly believe in both of the candidates. I mean,
Officer Kelly?
I'd like to motion the previous question.
We'll do this by a voice vote. All those in favor of going to previous question, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Then we'll now move into voting, which we'll do by a secret ballot vote. Do we have?
I hope this is enough. I have a method if this is enough.
Okay, so my plan alternatively, if we don't have enough of these, I'll figure out how we get more, is to take a piece of paper, rip it into pieces, take the picture of the pieces so that when they're all collected, no one can like forge the shape of the paper. Does that make sense? I know that's a weird way to describe it. I think we have enough here though.
Horizons wants to talk.
The speaker would recognize him if.
We
Oh.
did have a motion to go to.
Oh,
previous
here, I'll
question.
tell him. Okay, that's clarified.
Are y'all ready for us to collect? Give me like weird nods if yes. Coolio, thank you.
We have it. We have it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just double check on this one.
So go ahead if you want.
Okay, cool.
You're so fun. You're so nice and kind. You're so nice.
Please don't feel evil about that. We'll be doing that in just a second. We have the final election now.
I have an open question for whoever can answer it. If there's a tie, does the speaker break that? Because that seems a little weird. Who breaks that?
I believe constitutionally, any tie that happens, that is the speaker votes like that. Yeah, and we can have the candidates come back in now.
Hayden, do you think that'd be weird and awkward for you?
Guys,
that.
that was the confidence clock.
So we could suspend that section of the bylaws.
But we would need, yeah, I mean,
So
hold on, calm down
hold
for
one
a second.
second, but we'll finish this up and then we can move to that. Congratulations to Chair Davis, who's being elected to Chair of the Housing Committee. And repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Lauren Davis,
Do solemnly swear to
Do-
defend and uphold
do solemnly swear to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
the rules and regulations set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Let's go, Lauren.
Okay, so that was just the time of the confidence clock. And so I would entertain a motion to suspend that section of the bylaws because passing the budget is kind of the whole point of this emergency session. Senator Salazar.
My motion was suspend. the bylaws.
Okay, so to do that, just make sure that you're clarifying that you are, you'll need to amend your motion to just make sure that it's specifically, what is this? Section 4, right, you should maybe write this down. Section 4, subsection E.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. I maybe could message it to you. I don't know if that's any faster, I'll try.
No, whichever way.
Because if you just motion to suspend the bylaws, I mean, that opens a huge can of worms. You want to be specific about what you are wanting to suspend. So give me 2 seconds.
Question. If we suspended all the bylaws, could we be non-germane?
When I say this is why we don't want to open up a can of worms, clever man, you figured it out.
Okay, what if next year on the last session, we do it and have
No.
an R-rated Senate session?
Okay, so section 4.
Graham, you are an inspiration.
It's a different timer, don't worry about that. Subsec.
I'm ready to write it down or
Okay.
whichever way.
Okay, yeah, so it is suspend section 4, subsection E, subsection A.
So what we can do, you can just say, okay, I can say that, and then you can just say, I move to do that. That might be easiest.
Let's go with that one.
Okay.
Let's go with that one.
That was what section?
You could just say the section of confidence business. But sorry, I don't know.
Okay.
I move to suspend the section of the
There we
confidence
go,
business.
fantastic. Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, that section of the bylaws.
I
will
think
be
actually the
suspended.
bylaws need, I think the bylaws need 2/3 to
What if
suspend.
it's unanimous? That is 2/3.
Oh, if I, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so if
just
it's
kidding.
unanimous, that would be 2/3. Okay, that motion,
Sorry.
that section of the bylaws is suspended. We will now move into the budget bill, if the authors would like to come and speak about that.
I don't know how many times tonight I'm going to say thank you all for your grace.
Well, hello. I hope you are all as thrilled as I am to still be here at 8:30. Okie doke. So we did the first reading last week. There's a few questions that I can answer for you once we get it pulled up here. But I'll go ahead and answer that rail jam question that you had. We did send out a poll both on the ASCSU Instagram and the Snow Riders Instagram. Let me just double check that the numbers haven't changed before I average these together. Looks like they have not. So averaging those together, from those that voted, that gets us a 72.5 approval rating of this event. So I hope that answers your question all right. And then if you want to open up that budget. Actually, how complicated is it to share my screen?
Out of our pay grade for this.
Yeah, I got you. No worries.
For right, yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
What we can do though, we can do this. We can do this.
You got it.
And then I just need to tell it. I need. Okay, screen. It's the easiest way to do it, I think. But it's not gonna show it on there, but it will show it over here, I believe. Oh.
If you minimize that tab, I bet you got it.
Yeah, not on our Zoom or, oh, yes. Hold on. Yes, it is, but it's not showing up on our actual live deal. So it's showing up.
It's the passage of the bill and not that.
Oh, we might need it. It's, yeah, it should be, okay, it's just lagging. Okay, we're good.
Alrighty. Okie doke. And then I believe the second question posed was total income. Is that right?
It was like how, like the difference between, the total difference between last year's budget and this year's budget.
Yeah, so student fees increased 3%. So that 1.5 million there is 3%. That's the only difference aside from rollover from the fund balance, which is that 300,000, and then anticipated rollover from unspent money in the budgets allocated this year, which is at 119. And that 86,000 in other revenues, interest accrued and various like online fees that that's all we really know about that. But yeah.
Hey, I forgot to do this part, that this bill seeks to allocate ASCSU student fee funds for the 2024-2025 academic year, linked here, there's the link.
Alrighty, love to open it up to some questions, speaker permitting.
Yeah, we'll open that up to 10 minutes of Q&A. If anybody has any questions. Quick question, could you refresh me on how much VSOP is getting this year?
175. 175.
Any additional questions?
Actually, no, I was thinking, it's not relevant.
Chair Davis.
Motion to approve this question.
Second reading.
Do I see any dissent to the motion to approve this question? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move into voting, which we can do any way you want to. We can do this by voice vote, maybe that's just easier.
I would motion to do this by voice vote.
Okay. All those in favor of passing this budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? And this budget is passed.
Alright, good stuff.
I wish. Everyone wishes.
Thank you. Good job.
We'll now move into the ending roll call. Senator Snyder.
Motion to use ending roll call as beginning roll call as ending roll call. If anyone who came in later, just put their names on the on the, just put their name, just add their names in later.
Second.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, that's what we will do. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for staying so late. I appreciate that.
If the people who just got voted in as chairs could come up for a quick second, I would highly, highly appreciate it. Because y'all are so swell. Thank you.